This is Customizing the Clone Wars. I am your host, as always, Peak Obi-Wan, Customizer. Along with me, I have Darth Daddy from the Customs for the Kid blogspot. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing really well tonight. Man, we've been talking about doing this episode for several times now. Finally, we are getting to it. I know it's one of my favorites. It's episode 30 of our show. And was this episode 18, I want to say, for season 2?
Yes. No, episode 17 is what they
17.
say. They say it's episode 17, season 2 of the Clone Wars. Yes. Original air date was April 2nd, 2010. So quite a while back, right?
Yeah, title of this one is Bounty Hunters, and it's actually based on a movie that was made in, let me check here, because I actually own the film. The name of the episode is Bounty Hunters. It's based on a 1954 Japanese movie called Seven Samurai that was directed by Akira Kurosawa, who I know George Lucas has said on many occasions was one of his bigger influences. This is the movie here. And it's crazy. That movie actually ended up having some American remakes. I don't know if you've ever heard of Magnificent Seven. I know they just did a reboot of the Magnificent Seven movie this year, and it might actually even still be in theaters now, or it might be soon to be on its way to Blu-ray. They've already made 2 Magnificent Sevens, one way back quite some time ago, and they redid it as a Western, and
Yeah, and they even said
Clone Wars has its version.
Yeah, they even said in the beginning that they honored Akira Kurosawa before the episode starts, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's actually been quite a number of Kurosawa remakes in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I know there's a future Jar Jar episode coming up that's based on a Kurosawa movie. Lightsaber Lost, we've already discussed, was based on Stray Dog. This is only one of several movies or several episodes that were based on Akira Kurosawa movies.
And can you kind of give us a brief synopsis of what that movie is about?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it might say on here. One of the most beloved movie epics of all time, Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, tells the story of a 16th century village whose desperate inhabitants hire 7 out-of-work warriors to protect them from invading bandits.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And we usually read from the episode guide of Clone Wars. And it says, stranded on the planet Felucia, 3 Jedi, Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, join forces with a band of 4 mercenaries to defend a farming village against the greedy Hondo Anaka. Hondo and his pirates want to steal the planet's crop of valuable Nicellan spice, and they won't let anyone get in their way. That's basically what this episode is about. And if you haven't seen our show, basically what we do is we talk about the Clone Wars, and it aired from 2008 to 2013? Why can I never get that right?
Yeah, I never remember either.
Yeah, I think the Lost Missions aired in 2013. So
okay.
We're giving you our perspective basically, and we're showing you customs along the way. Customizing is a way to show your artistic talent, or just a way to add to your collections of characters that maybe you wanted. Maybe there was a character you wanted at one point in time, and for some reason they never got around to it. So that's kind of what we do on the show. So let's begin, shall we? This is Bounty Hunters, like Darth Daddy said. We are in season 2 of Rise of the Bounty Hunters, and let's get going. Here we go. And it says, courage makes heroes, but trust builds friendship. What do you think about that? Courage makes heroes, but trust builds friendship.
It's a nice saying.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're talking about these are
The
the
trust
fortune
building
cookies.
friendships,
Yeah.
I guess, has to do with the native solutions, trusting the Jedi and the the Jedi trying to trust the bounty hunters, and because there was a little bit of distrust, I know, between Sugi and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, a little bit of team building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. So here we are in our episode, and basically they're saying that there's these outposts that the Republic put in deep space, above worlds, and they said the Separatists are basically blowing them up. So the Jedi go and they go to try to figure out what happened to the one above Felucia. And we've been to Felucia several times. It's a real beautiful planet. And check out this thing, man. This is so cool. It's like this satellite, and it has retractable droid fighters in it.
I wonder what that is at the bottom there. That looks like a huge droid with legs.
Yeah, I know. I know. It almost looks like one of the ones from the water episodes, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yep.
A little bit. But I always thought those were cool. But I guess these droid fighters were waiting for them, and once they went in a certain range of them, they opened up and they went after the Jedi. And unfortunately, they get shot down, and they eject from these.
I love these pods.
Yeah,
they look like volleyballs.
Basically, when they eject onto Felucia, they lose their ship. But the chair has like a padding that goes around them in a ball, and they just kind of bounce down onto the surface of the planet. So they're kind of like, well, that's what happened to the station. I guess we need a ride now. So, and they're not sure where they're at exactly on Felucia. They just crashed. So they see some smoke on the horizon, and they also see one of these. Check this out. It's actually a rank. Yeah, it's a Rancor, but I know they look a little bit different. I think they made
way different. I mean,
like a turtle, like a turtle type of Rancor.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Clone Wars Rancor design.
Yeah, it was a little hard to get in touch with, right?
Yeah, it just didn't. It didn't read the likeness didn't transition as well.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Didn't read Rancor.
Yeah, it wasn't very scary, was it?
No, not at all. It's kind of silly looking.
Yeah. Well, after they quietly walk past these few of these turtle Rancors or whatever they are, they find this village. There was smoke on the horizon, but there's nobody in the village, and they're curious as to why there's nobody around. But there's crops that need to be harvested, and you can see that the harvester is still out in the field and everything, and they're harvesting this health herb or whatever it's called, Nicillin. It's like penicillin, basically. So they go and they're looking for them, and they realize that they're hiding for some reason. And here we get the gang of bounty hunters, right?
Yep.
And these people were actually hired to defend these little smiley face looking dudes. And this is the picture of the group. Here we have Rumi over here. We have Sugi, Serapis, and Embo. And believe it or not, we actually got Embo and Serapis. Serapis was the one that was the head scratcher. I was blown away by that,
I was happy to get him. I mean, he was one of the figures that I think was a lot of fun to get. And when he was announced and you saw the Embo figure, I was so hoping that we'd get a Sugi and a Rumi too, and they'd finish out the set.
Right.
I was even hoping for like a battle pack that had all 7, but
yeah, I know.
It never happened.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about a few of these tonight, the ones that they actually didn't make. I went ahead and made those. So we'll go back to what I was sharing here just a second ago. And there it is. So this is the group, and they come upon them basically, and even Serapis is like, we don't count you, you little one, knee high, he calls her.
Yeah.
She's so small, she's so small compared to him in his armor, but we find out later that there's something going on with him. So there's our group right there, and I'm going to actually get into these customs later, the Sugi and the Rumi. I thought I'd keep them till the end of the show so I could show you kind of some of my build. I know you had taken a picture. Do you have a picture also of this group like this, or is it too hard to find at this point?
Show me the picture again. I have something similar that I could pull up really quick.
Yeah, this is basically the whole group. A couple of the customs that I have in there are the Ahsoka, the Sugi, the Rumi in the far back, and then the Serapis, the Anakin, and the Embo are just there's nothing done to those three.
Yeah, I have this.
Oh.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I can see it. That's awesome.
So yeah, that has the whole group there.
Yeah.
I thought I took the picture of the wrong Anakin, but I guess I went back and I did fix it at some point.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, they look great together. Kind of a funny
this would have
thing.
been great to see the set released, but it just never happened.
Yeah, I think
even if they gave us the 4 like this, I would have been really happy.
Yeah, they have that superstition, that we can't make girls in an action figure line. I hate it too. I really do.
It's obnoxious.
It is obnoxious because now it's just the opposite, right?
Oh yeah, you look at the way Sabine's selling right now. Forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sabine is selling like hotcakes, I'll tell you what. But appreciate you sharing those. That's great. And like I said, we'll be showing those a little later. Here is Rumi. This is my first one, and I'll show you at the end of the episode how I went about building her. You had commissioned this one. You had said.
I was planning on making her originally, and I guess we were talking, and you offered to make her, and I was like, hey, one less figure for me to have to make because I have so many I want to make. And I always trust you that if you're going to make something, it's going to come out excellent. So, yeah, I had no problem passing the project off.
Yeah, I recall talking about it, and I was like, oh boy, that's a tough one. I don't know. Oh man, yeah. Some of them are harder than others for sure. Like the one I showed last week, he is daunting. I'll tell you. I had gone through and did Trench last week. I showed him, and I haven't really gotten much further on him, but I will give periodic updates of what's going on with Trench as we move along in some of our episodes. We'll have like a Trench break or something.
Yeah, hopefully you'll have them done by our season 2 wrap up.
Yeah,
that we usually do at the end. That's a couple of weeks away, so that gives you over a month.
Yeah, here's the other one, and this is the 4th Sugi I did, and I've done 4 of them now, and I'll show you also all the different versions of Sugi that I did, but this is the most recent one that I did of Sugi, and she's a Zybrack, right?
Yep.
She's like Darth Maul, but apparently there's 2 different kinds of Zybrack. They're in the same area, but there's often 2 different kinds. She is more like Ethkoth from the Jedi Council. She's probably from that same area. So that brings us to our Easter egg here. This is the troop here. They get to threatening the Jedi. And then the little guy comes in and he's like, hold on. These are Jedi. They're here to save us, right? But do you see anything like an Easter egg in here?
I would say that blaster that Sugi's holding is like that Boba Fett blaster that we never got.
Exactly. And I love that you said that because, and that is right, that is the EE3 blaster. And surprise, surprise, folks, I don't know if you know this, all you collectors out there and everything, we never got this gun in the entire Hasbro line. I guess they tried to make it the first time around in the Power of the Force 2, but it just never really panned out. So all the Boba Fett guns that we've ever received, it was never this one. And in the 6-inch version, everything, we've never received this gun. And there's the sample that I have that I pulled from the internet, the EE3. I would love for somebody to actually make the gun and make it right and make it look good. I did actually make one for one of the Sugis, but we will get to that a little later. And we'll move on. And they come to decide, they start talking and they're like, what is holding you guys up? What's the problem? And they're like, we got pirates trying to steal our Nicillum. And sure enough, they run into their old friend Hondo, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And isn't he's pretty cruel in this series. You know, he's a scallywag in this series. Don't you think?
Yeah, he's definitely more of a bad guy at the first end of the show.
Yeah, because we recently, if you follow Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, he was in the episode yesterday. He just seems kind of calm and nice and kind of happy-go-lucky, doesn't he? I hate to minimize it, but
I feel like they are trying to still show that he's not a guy to be trusted, though, because
yeah.
if, you know, basically trying to break up the Hondo Ezra dynamic by having Zeb in charge of the mission in last night's episode.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hoping that Ezra will see that Hondo's not that great of a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they're going back to kind of showing that Hondo's still kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, yeah.
Amusing scumbag, but you know.
Yeah, he's amusing for sure. He's so funny. He was cracking jokes and everything on that episode. Check it out, folks, if you like Hondo. He was in Rebels last night, but here we see him again, and this is not Hondo. This is Worm, and this is going to lead us to our next custom, or our next two customs. We often talk about how affectionate we are towards the weak ways, because they are just cool, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they just added a really fun dynamic to the Clone Wars, especially as pirates.
Yeah, I kind of wish they made more. We had decided as we went along that we could take the two pirates that they made, both Hondo Ohnaka and Shahan Alma. Is that his name, Shahan Alma? And we could change their parts out ultimately and make different various pirates, right?
Yep.
And what I did here is I actually made these two pirates here. The first one's name is Gwarm, and he is consistent throughout the entire Clone Wars with Hondo Ohnaka's gang. So this is Gwarm, and then the other guy is just I don't know what his name is. I don't even think he has a name, but I did make him. And here is my attempt at Gwarm. And what I did was I actually gave him different elements. You know, I gave him articulating pelvis so he could actually sit on the speeder bike. They came rolling in on their speeder bikes. And this is Gwarm. And next to him is Pick, Muck. And he actually plays a big role in this too, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there he is. And I thought I'd pull out one of the speeder bikes and put him on there. This is the speeder bike that came with Cad Bane, right?
Yep. I actually have these old Clone Wars magazines, And there's actually a picture in one of the old magazines that shows all the different paint jobs that they had on those speeder bikes. And I had a busy weekend. I didn't get much done. I kind of wanted to do one of those really unique paint jobs on the speeder bikes, but I didn't have time.
Oh, bummer. That would have been cool. There's always time. There's always time to do more, right? It's endless.
Yeah, there is. There is.
It's truly endless, I'll tell you. So that's just a little shot I took there, and I put a little knife on the back of his gun and everything. That's kind of fun. And here's the other weak way pirate. Basically, I took off the shoulder pads of Shahan Oma, and I basically gave him a peg leg hanging down there, and then I gave him a tail. Weak ways are definitely notorious for having kind of a hair braid hanging down.
Yep.
So there is the other dude, and that's just a custom paint job there on the Shahan Oma. All right, and there is Hondo, and there is Pick Muck Muck. I don't know what happened to Pilf, but do we see?
Didn't he get choked out? Wasn't there some kind of battle? And I remember like maybe like choking out one, and I heard a neck crack or something. So maybe
I think that's coming up. It might be coming up in.
Okay.
That's in the season finale. Yeah, we'll look for that.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
For that.
Yeah. I knew there's somewhere in the Clone Wars something like that happened. I didn't remember what episode.
Yeah, and after Hondo and his gang threatens the group, they decide that they need to be trained in self-defense. That's the only way they're going to keep from people attacking them in the future. They're these little farmers, these little farm guys, and Anakin takes one of their farming tools and he does like the Matrix, and he flips it around. Very, martial arts.
Show some bow staff skills. Yeah.
Bow staff skills, exactly. I thought it was totally cool. But they basically want to try to train these people to defend themselves so they don't ever have to come back. And in my opinion, I feel like this is what the Jedi are really known for. They're peacekeepers going to a world trying to keep the peace by not getting involved in it and just lending their advice, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So while they're training, Serapis has an accident, and we find out that, sure enough, he's just a little guy in that big suit, controlling that giant robot, right?
I think that was one of the coolest aspects of the episode, as well as one of the coolest figures we got, just because we got that little Serapis.
Yeah, I was blown away by that. I mean, that was like right towards the end of the line too, that we got the Serapis. I wonder if they maybe had plans for a battle pack
to do a lot more.
To do a lot more, because out of nowhere, there he is. There's Serapis. Because he wasn't in any other episode, was he?
Yeah, and I felt like that was right when Hasbro was like getting to like being at its best, and then all of a sudden it was like the rug got pulled out from under it, and the whole Hasbro line has kind of been going downhill since then.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. They might have found out at that point that the buyout was happening. Yeah. I'm guessing in 2011 they found out, and that's when they pulled the show, because they I'm guessing they just didn't know what was going to happen. That's my opinion. Maybe they felt like they were going to get canned or something. This is Hasbro I'm talking about, folks. Who knows? Because they're so dramatically different these days, aren't they?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Very different.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And we've talked about
build the droid parts to now like build the weapon junk parts.
Yeah.
And quality's gone down.
For the same price. And
yeah,
holding those ball joints hostage, like we said last week.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go back into it. And he just realized that Serapis realized that he can still be good regardless of being small, you know. So let's move it on. And this is it Delaney? Kalani? Or
I think it's Delaney.
Yeah, Delaney.
He
Delaney
was the one that was
is,
complaining about, we can't do this. What are you trying to make us do this for? Just kick their ass for us.
yeah, do it for us, you know. And basically they say it's not going to solve anything. So you just need to trust in us. You need to trust in our wisdom that we're going to be able to help you here, and you just need to be brave. And eventually,
I like that screenshot because it shows the diversity and the appearance of all the different solutions.
Yeah, different ages and stuff. And I'm thinking this one here is a female, you know, a flatter face, flatter face, bigger lips, you know.
Yep.
Just different versions of them. I guess eventually they become scouts for the Republic too, whenever they're on Felucia, even the kids. But here we see kind of somebody's looking at binoculars and seeing that they're training. And we find out that it's a weak way. And this is Embo's shining moment. I love this part. If you remember, this is where he goes, and it's kind of brutal, actually. Here we go again with the, it's not a kid show, you know? He goes up there and he grabs this guy and he goes one-on-one and he breaks his neck.
Yep.
And what they realize is that now this guy's not going to check in, so they're going to come back even faster. So they just have to get ready regardless. That's the only way that they are going to survive. And here's another weak way, and this is going to lead us into our next custom. This is somebody that you have done, right?
I don't know if it's this one. I think the one that I didn't actually do it, Elias did it, but nice. I think the one that he did, let me see if I can pull it up. I think he shows up later on. There's a scene with Embo. I did the guy that was on the speeder bike that Embo ripped off. Show you him now. And then, let's see, screen share, application window. Huh. I'm going to have to do entire screen. All right. Okay, so it's this. Anything showing up?
Yeah, sure is.
All right.
It's there.
Okay,
yeah,
so
he jumps
yeah,
on
this
him.
is the guy here. He doesn't have the goggles on,
right?
And he doesn't have braids. Where I think the guy that you were showing has the braids and the goggles, but he still does have a similar appearance. And is this one coming up now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one that I didn't do it. My 13-year-old did, and actually he did it quite a ways ago. I think he was probably he might have been like 10 or 11 when he made this one.
Is that right?
Yeah, this one was the Shehan Alama legs. I think he sculpted to make the boots look screen accurate. He added the pouch, and then he repainted the armor from the Shehan Alama and went from blue to gold. And the arms are from Hondo and Naka, the lower arms at least. The upper arms are still from that Shehan Alama. Yeah. And then the head is a cast of head sculpt that I did. I ended up making a mold of the head sculpt so I could make pirates at a faster pace. But yeah, this is just something Elias made, and that's one of only two I think that we have from this episode.
Cool. Do you have the other one that you can show us?
Yeah, let me pull up first the image of I did I think his name was Finn Tagotash, and you can kind of, is it still showing the screen?
Yeah, but it's
okay. You can kind of see a little bit of his blue pants and his white.
You can see it a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then but they showed him so quickly. I was trying to catch the shot, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But this is him here, and that's basically the Shehan Alama without any molding. I mean, without any sculpting to the boots. It's just the way the figure was. The forearms are both still from Hondo. I did make some adjustments to the upper torso. If you look around the neckline, I ended up giving it that ripped shirt look because Shane Hanalama didn't have that.
Right.
And then it's still one of those heads that I think this is actually the original one that I hand sculpted. And then I ended up making the mold from this sculpt that is, ended up becoming the head for many of my pirate figures.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's amazing that we never really got any of those. How easy would it have been to just make a weak way, even a repaint, right, of Shahan Oma?
I feel like I just never understood how we had Hondo and Aka and we had no pirate gang.
Right, right.
There should have been some kind of pirate battle pack in some way, and just doing what we did, where you just rehash. You have what you need. You didn't even really have to go about making any new sculpts or investing in any making new parts. They could have made pirates just with the parts that they had, because there was plenty of pirates that had berets.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Man, I'll tell you. What do you think? You think we're going to get a Hondo in the Rebels line?
He's been in so many episodes now. I hope they at least do Hondo and Lando.
Yeah.
At the very least. Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move it along here. Like I said, I thought last week went so well that I thought I would share that again. We're going to share those both Rumi and Sugi at the end of the episode. And we're almost through it here, so I'll just finish it up. Basically, what's going on is they're attacking and they're defending themselves, aren't they? They're defending themselves against these Weequay. And what happens?
They took a couple of serious injuries, some even a fatal injury for when it was Rumi, who didn't survive the episode, and Embo ended up getting injured. I think he got shot in the arm. And that's probably an easy custom for any of you people who want to do an injured. All you have to do is make a little fabric sling for your Embo if you ever want to try and make a custom of that. They ended up keep fighting the pirates back to the point where Hondo basically came out and said, this mission is no longer profitable. And he basically just took off and decided it's not worth it. Right.
Yeah, and we see all kinds of different things going on. Hondo goes up against Anakin, believe it or not, with an electro staff.
And he held his own. He went toe to toe with Anakin, which really gives you an idea of how skilled Hondo is.
Yeah, and he even
not only in banter, but in actual fighting skills.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they pulled him into Rebels. I keep saying that he's the Jack Sparrow of Star Wars. So
yeah, he's too dynamic a character to leave out. He has too big a fan base to just let him, disappear with the Clone Wars.
Right. And here we see Rumi get blown away. I guess what had happened was they were going to blow away Embo, but everybody liked him so much. There's a little featurette with Dave Filoni on StarWars.com, and he's actually does the voice of Embo, believe it or not. And the words that Embo speaks, they're French words from a Smurf book. Isn't that hilarious?
No way.
Yeah. So he's Dave Filoni is actually reading from a Smurf book that's in French, and that's Embo's voice.
That's funny.
Yeah, this picture cracks me up. Look at all of the dead Weekways. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Yeah, but they realize that Hondo's in trouble. We get to a point where he's hanging off the side of the cliff, and he's like, "Please help me!" Whenever he's in trouble, that's when he gets vulnerable, and he's like, I won't fight you anymore." But once he's pulled up and everything, Pick Muk decides to open fire on Anakin and blows him off the side of the cliff. And yeah, there's Hondo. Basically,
yeah. Hondo ended up jumping Anakin right into the line of fire.
Yeah, look at this image.
Let me just get you perfectly in front of that cannon.
Yeah. You know, he's basically saying it's no longer profitable, but it almost looks wrong, doesn't it? It looks like he's flipping us the bird.
Finger.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But here we are at the end of the episode. So all these people, they actually came together. They pulled it off, even though they lost one of their own. And Serapis lost his suit of armor, basically. I think we do see him one more time. He's basically Sugi's co-pilot, is what he is. And I'm guessing Embo's like, I'm not going to work with this lady anymore. You know, she almost got me killed.
They do work together. What is it, Eminence?
Eminence.
What's the one where they attack Jabba's palace? Because they both end up working in Jabba's later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They work for Jabba the Hutt. Yep. Eventually, they work for Jabba the Hutt. Yep.
Serapis was not there for that.
Right. I guess he's just a little. He's not that great.
Yeah.
Only good.
He was out shopping for a new suit of armor.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But here we see the chief or the village leader. He's basically thanking them for doing what they did, and that is the end of the episode. So now we can get down to how I went about making those characters. If you are interested, we'll start with Rumi here. And like you said, you put it upon me to try to make this character, and I was like, oh boy, I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah, I was like, all you need is like, what did I say? Keto Paraceti, and I forget some of the other ones I mentioned.
Yeah, right. And last week, what we decided to do, or what would be the best route to go on making a character like this would be starting with the source material, the reference material. So I went and got a picture off of Google Images, and this is Rumi, and you can almost see, and this is why it's great to make customs in the Clone Wars. You can almost see elements from other characters. If you look at like her boots here, very similar to Cato Paraceti, aren't they?
Very much so.
Yeah, and her gun looks like Ellis's. Even her rifle is the same as Ellis's, right?
Yeah.
But guess what else are the same as Ellis? Her hands.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love that they used to borrow elements from other character designs, and they do a mishmash to create a whole new character.
Right.
And it made it easier for them to develop new assets on the show, but it also made it great for customizers because when they released a lot of this stuff, they gave us all the parts we needed to do the same mix and match that they used to create their assets to create our custom action figures.
Exactly. You can build, you have built-in fodder, basically. Yeah. So I have this image here, and this is just the entire roadmap for this gal. And I learned that I had to sculpt her head from scratch. So that's kind of the tough part of this build. But as you can see, a lot of the things on her are what we were talking about. The gun, the pistol and the rifle are the same as Ellis. The holster is the same as Ellis. The legs are the boots are the same as Cato Paraceti. So we have a couple shortcuts, don't we? Right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, and there's another headshot because, like I said, definitely have to sculpt that one. And here is kind of a rough start of what I built or how I went about doing this. This is a different version. This is Tawazi.
This is the second one that you did, right?
No, this is actually Tawazi. This is the build for her, but I used a lot of the same elements in this one to make this Cato Paraceti. You can go with various different ways of doing her pelvis. I used a G.I. Joe pelvis on the original one, which is the one I commissioned for you. But some of the characters I used, you can see in here. The white, of course, is Aura Singh. You can see the Ellis hands in there. These are Ellis elements here. Those are Ellis elements there, but I'll change those out eventually. What I was using them for, folks, were these ball joints. As long as you have a nice solid build, you'll be able to transform it really into anything you want. And the torso, of course, is Ventress, right?
Yeah.
So here is kind of a further rendition of that, the original version. And you can see that I added other elements like belts and armor for her. And then, of course, the hood is green stuff. I recommend using green stuff or Procreate for this kind of thing because you can just basically thin it out so thin and then just drape it over the head, right?
Yeah, and if you ever want to make something that hood, so it doesn't actually attach to the head, sculpt your head first, throw saran wrap over it, and then you could, after once the saran wrap is actually covering your head sculpt, then you could go and you could lay down the hood itself, and then the hood doesn't have to be attached to the head, and you could maybe make it so if you pop the head off, you could get that head out, and then and do it hoodless if you wanted to. But that's always something that you could do if you want to have removable accessories, is utilizing the saran wrap.
Right. Right, and you could even make like these straps and whatnot removable if you choose to. I chose to glue them to the character just to hold them down mostly for ultimate posability, I suppose. So moving on a little bit, this is the final rendition of the one that I did for you.
Yep.
Like I said, she has like super big calves. Like they start really skinny. And then they get really wide. I guess that's just her alien species. So I used a G.I. Joe joint there in the pelvis area. And it worked really great.
Yeah,
really
I like the way it came out.
Yeah, which enables her to do the splits. And once again, like I said, I used Cattle Parasites boots with a kind of modified Ellis foot, only with the ball joint that fits into the bottom of the Cattle Parasite character. And then a lot of these elements that you're seeing here are green stuff. I made this one with green stuff. And there's Cattle Parasite. And the reason I put this in here is to kind of show you why this character is so great to use. This is one of my favorite characters that they've ever created. Don't you think this is awesome?
Oh yeah, the only thing I didn't like about that figure, and it's very minor, those little ammo packs on the side,
yes,
are so easy to lose.
Yep.
But they're also nice if you're a customizer, because now you have something you can mold and cast to make those ammo packs if you need them. So it's a double-edged sword. Like you're getting some benefits out of it, but at the same time, especially if you have little ones, it's very easy to lose those ammo packs.
Yeah, and like he's saying, you can utilize those again. And I use this character for both Rumi and Subi. That's why I brought her in here, just to show you some of the joints that she has, like this upper portion of her arm. That's great for armor. I use that for Rumi, but I added an additional part of an arm to make it longer from our Singh. So I use various different characters that way. The hands are great. I use both. I use those for Sugi, and I also use the pants and the waist for Sugi as well. And there's Ellis. These are just examples of characters. Believe it or not, folks, if you were not collecting before, what was it, like 2010, some of these characters were super easy to get for a long time.
Yeah, they were.
For a long time. And I got...
Oh, you know what I want to bring up too? I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, sure.
Clone Wars Aayla Secura is currently available on Tung Hori's site, and that was a really hard one to get recently.
Yeah.
And they've been going up in price, and I think he's selling them for, I want to say $8 right now on his website. They just, I just saw them this morning. So people who are looking for Clone Wars parts, Aayla Secura is one of those bodies or one of those action figures that are great for making female Clone Wars action figures, and she was difficult to find for at least the last few months. And Tung Hori, I saw her up on Tung Hori's site today. So
That's awesome. Yeah, the females, and this is just an example of a few of them. I don't think I have any Aayla Secura parts in either one of these characters,
yeah,
but Aura Singh is definitely one that I use often. She is also available there too, isn't she?
yeah, touch and go. Actually, I don't know if he has her right now,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, she's another one that any of the Clone Wars female figures, I just try to grab them every opportunity I can get.
I feel the same. Or just these thinner joints,
Yep.
of these different characters. I utilize them whenever I can, and like I said, there was a point in time in history where all of these characters that I'm showing you, this one, that one, that one, that one, they were all really easy to get in the Shadows of the Dark Side line, and that was a time where I just gobbled them up.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Every time I went to Walmart, I'd buy one or two of each of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I don't blame you there.
Yeah,
I still grab them every chance I can get.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, they're great for female figures, especially when they have this thing. They're still superstitious, even though the protagonists are largely becoming females, right?
Yeah.
In this future venture of Star Wars, we have Jin and we have Rey, and it's unbelievable. It's
Yeah, it's a
unbelievable
nice
how,
trend.
yeah, it's great that it's finally turning around, and we can,
Hera,
do,
Sabine.
yeah, exactly.
It really did start in the Clone Wars. Clone Wars kind of laid the groundwork for that when you're getting people like Rumi and Aura Singh and Sugi and Duchess Satine, and it just you had a flood of just amazing female characters, and it's nice to see that continuing going forward. But I really feel like it was Clone Wars that really laid the groundwork for just giving it
Mhm.
to us in abundance as opposed to like piecemeal. And
Yeah,
where you get like a Princess Leia or you get a Padme Amidala, it was like, all right, let's open the floodgates, and we were getting just a large number of incredibly cool female characters.
yeah. I think they still make that joke that Princess Leia was the only woman in the galaxy, right?
Yeah,
The only woman in the galaxy, and they still make a joke about that. It's somewhat true, but I think they just, yeah, for story wise, in the original Star Wars, in the original trilogy, maybe it just didn't jive or something. I have no clue, but you're right. Clone Wars definitely paved the way for great female characters, and I really concentrate on them a lot. I know you do too, don't you?
oh yeah, every chance I get if I can.
Yeah, yeah. I think they are just some of the better things to focus on, the females. So here is my shot of Sugi. I don't know if you're seeing that. Are you seeing that there?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. So Sugi, basically, she let's see here. Um, she is the other custom that I wanted to talk about, and we will talk about that. If you're seeing this one here, I basically found what we call an asset. It gives
So this
you.
must be the first episode where they started utilizing those.
I think so. I think so. So it's kind of a side shot, a detailed view of how you can go about making these characters. I don't really go about making a custom unless I have one of these. I just really want to know that I can, get to point A to point B, doing it the right way. So that's why I have this little roadmap, basically, and these are great, and they're available on Google Images. You just got to look up the character's name. And what I did with it is I basically try to figure out what parts would go with this character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I began. And I showed some of the characters that I used. One of the characters I didn't show, and I think you know who it is. It's
Yep.
Shakti.
Jedi Shakti. Yeah.
Jedi Shakti. So if you look at right here, you can see kind of her upper torso. Shakti has that same, almost that same exact thing going on right there, kind of a muscle shirt kind of thing.
Yep.
And I was blown away by that. But I wanted her to have that kind of that functionality, but I wanted her to have kind of cool features as well. So I went back to the Cattle Paraceti, and here is my first version of Sudi, where I utilized some of those parts I'm talking about. You can see kind of the Cattle Paraceti hands in there, Aurasing feet. The boots are originally from Shakti as well, but the pants here, they're perfect. The Cattle Paraceti pants are perfect. So what I did in this waist here, if you can see this, I just grinded it all down and attached the Shakti torso to the Cattle Paraceti one. That way she has that movement, you know, that movement in there. And I actually made that gun. There's that EE3 blaster. For the first time, I used some of Boba Fett's gun, but I used some other elements and whatnot. I think this one here was from a knee nub gun, and I just attached it right here on the end. So if you're seeing that, and this is the second version of Sudi. I actually did her 4 times, 4 different times. They all feel the same, but no one element is exactly the same. So I made them a little bit different, you know, because they're ultimately works of art, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not a manufacturer or anything. I'm just a guy sitting in my basement, you know, making toys. And this is the second version I did, and yeah, I think it turned out great. This is the one that you own currently, right?
Yep. Yeah, this is the one I have.
And you can see here that I used a couple of the same parts. Those pockets are on the front. The first version that I did, this one here, I actually used the Ventress belt, but I realized that the Aurasing belt was a little bit better, a little bit more useful. So I used the Aurasing belt. And do you have any questions on how I did that, or
I don't.
Okay, well, I will move on then.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the audience, just because I don't, I make customs. The audience,
yeah,
you know,
they may, maybe
they may. Yeah.
maybe they will, maybe they'll write into us, right?
That would be nice.
How the heck did you do that? Yeah. So here is more of like a kind of a pseudo real kind of hybrid style. I don't know if it translates as much as I would have liked it to, but I made it a little bit more real. Not so much.
This is number 3, this one?
Yeah, this is number 3.
This one looks nice. I never saw this one.
Yeah, this one I did, and I made her horns a little bit more accentuated. You know, I thought it would be cool if I made her a little bit more sleek, I guess. Sleek. And so I went with a couple different things. I gave her a little bit bigger purse, and I actually, if you can see there, I actually made it fold over proper on the bag. And then I used those little pockets again, those Cattle Paraceti pockets. And basically that little holster there, it's a gun holster. What I did is I cut the thicker portion of it off, and so that the knife, the dagger or whatever can fit inside the holster. And I used a little bit of Fix-It on there. These little fluff puffs or whatever I call them.
Yeah.
I don't know
Puffy
what those
sleeves.
are. Yeah, puffy sleeves. She's got such a cool outfit, such a cool look, you know. Probably one of
Yeah,
the
she's one of the cooler character designs.
neatest characters. She has that top knot going on,
Yep.
of that tuft of hair or whatever. Just amazing, amazing. And this is the fourth and final version until I do another one. Eventually, I'll get around to it. But on this one, I actually left the decaling on the cattle paraceti because I thought it looked cool, you know. But there are different shots and whatnot where you see this emblem that are on her shin guards that are actually translated on there too. But if you look at the episode, she doesn't have anything on that armor that she has on her arms. So all really, really cool, but not a single one is exactly the same. They're all a little bit different, which is, I think, is great. Because I like to make them a little bit different for everybody, so they're all special in some way, you know. And then here are a couple more shots of the second version I did of Rumi. I don't think you've seen this one either, have you?
No, I never did.
Yeah. This is kind of similar to the first version I did. A couple of different elements. Check out that coin. Can you recognize where that's from?
No, where is that from?
It's
Oh, wait,
from,
is that Ventress?
no, it's the medal that they get on Yavin.
Oh,
Isn't that
okay.
awesome? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I added different elements. These are just like plastic bits that I add to the arms, and this is, of course, green stuff. Once again, I guess since she's green, I felt like using green stuff. But you can use the Procreate, or you can even use Fixit if you wanted to make these characters. But it all starts with that original build, and getting a substantial recipe for where you're heading. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the kind of guy that just goes with one figure and says I'm just going to turn this into a character. I have to Frankenstein them together a little bit. So that's kind of what you're seeing here. You know, there's those two, and there they are. Oh, there's a couple more shots. Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, and that's it. Let's see here. All right, and here I am. That is our show, folks. I hope that was definitely informative and helpful. One of our favorite episodes for sure. Loved it. Really enjoyed seeing all the different things that went on in that episode, and the different characters that we can share with you. So when I'm not here, I am at Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations on Facebook, or Clone Wars Custom Figures. I also have an Instagram. That is Peak Obi-Wan Custom Figures. Where can we find you when you're not on the show?
Probably the best place you could find me is over at the Customs for the Kid blog. Essentially, from there, you could check out all the figures we made over here at the Action Figure Index. There's also a quick tour of the blog if you just want to see how to use it, get the most out of it. I made a video to make it easy to do so. Also from there, you can get links to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. Just click on any one of these images and it takes you right to where you need to go. Down below, if you want to see other artists that are featured on the blog, go to the Customs I Wish I Owned archive page over here. If you want to see our custom action figure collection that features artists like Chad, the Customizer Spotlight's the place to go for that. So yeah, this is basically the place to go. Until next week, may the force be with you.
Take care.